Safe football for 1993, and the sun has burnt through. There's a bit of a breeze blowing, but it's going to be an interesting afternoon's football here, because after very calm conditions over the last week, the breeze has got up from the west and a few whitecaps out there on Hobson's Bay. It's going to make football a little more difficult than our previous Saturdays down here on ABC Sport at Williamstown, where the weather has been ideal. This is more like we're led to believe it can be down here, with the elements playing some sort of part in the way the game goes. It's Williamstown against Prahran, and it's the two Blues who've begun winners here today, and they're well and truly on top of the ladder, Prahran, in the reserves after 2 games. They today beat Williamstown by 89 points, and that was a close game compared to their win last week over Coburg by 35 goals. So Prahran starting off very well in the reserves. Their seniors won last week. Williamstown were beaten, and that's how the lineup is in the seniors after 1 week of VFA football. Sandringham, the reigning premiers, they're the team to beat again. On top of the ladder from Frankston and Prahran, 2 teams that it was said would push the Zebras this season. Well, after 1 round, that's the way it's panning out. Preston, a good win for them first up under new coach Dixon, into the 5 with Werribee. And Port Melbourne outside on percentage. Today we're looking at Williamstown bottom on the ladder against Prahran, who are in 3rd place. Williamstown last week, we saw them beaten by Sandringham at Sandy. They're out there on the ground in the huddle with a bit of work to do today. Take a look at their lineup, and we're not exactly sure how they'll line up, but this is the 20. The interchange players will be Fuentes and Huff. The unlucky player to miss out, that was named on interchange, I think, after a pretty good game on debut last week, was Martin Vonnier. He's not there, but he's not as unlucky as poor Ashley Koenig, who we saw go off with a knee injury early on last week. He's had a total knee reconstruction yesterday, so that's the season finished for Ashley Koenig. Bad luck to him. So Tasinovic will come into the side for him. As we look at the Prahran lineup, pretty confident 2 Blues camp. Martello and Truella on interchange. Now, they were regular first-team players last year, so that shows the depth that Prahran have got at Toorak Park this year. And MRAKOV there at full forward. He's got number 11. He kicked 7 goals last week. He's got Brian Taylor's old number. Brian Taylor is coaching from the boundary line this season, so he'll still be involved in personality VFA football, but not out on the playing arena. Well, with me, 2 pretty big personalities as usual, Philip Cleary and Sam Kekovich. Sam, congratulations, #1 ticket holder at Prahran for this season, your old club.
Blues, yes, it was certainly a great honour bestowed upon me, and I accepted it with, well, let me tell you, there was a tinge of humility about me, Philip.
And I'm #1 ticket holder for Coburg, so it was a good result, wasn't it, last week?
Yeah. Well, you better offset his 2 Blue bias today, if there is any. Do you think Willie can win it?
I don't think so. They look very, very good, Prahran. They're strong in attack, Kuipert and MRAKOV. But out here at Williamstown, of course, the Seagulls play much better. It could be a lot closer than one might expect, but Prahran to win.
Well, Prahran will win, but the only thing that could, and Peter, you hit the nail on the head when you alluded to the conditions. Very tricky in these blustery conditions, but Prahran will be too talented up forward.
And Ross Booth, just how much wind advantage is Prahran kicking with?
Well, it's a bit hard to tell. It's really across the ground. It's gusting in from the south, so it may not be all that much of an advantage, but it's very gusty. Brian Winton in the ruck for the 2 Blues. Umpires Darren Agnew and Adrian Panozzo, or as he calls himself, Panozzo. He reckons he's not very Italian.
Well, here's Maloney, ruck roving, and he finds teammate on half wing, half forward Stephen Zamical. Going against the breeze are the Seagulls in this first term. And looks like copping a high one there is McCormack, who had his 21st birthday during the week. And there's a birthday present, which Brian Winton didn't like, delivered by Marcus O'Connor. So Brett McCormack looking a little bit sick there. We'll see it from the low angle here. Uncontested mark until a little bit late.
Right across the snout. They always tickle there. Facial one, not very pleasant.
Rickman centres. Now Tasinovic in great position.
There's one thing about this boy, Vince Tasinovic. He really can take a mark. He's good on the lead there, but I've seen him pluck some big ones in the seconds.
Shown a lot of promise, hasn't he, Phil, over the last 2 or 3 seasons. Just hasn't been able to cement his place in the side. And McCormack going off for Prahran, and that's a blow because they need his height up there, especially with Tasinovic.
Tasinovic has got the goal. So 7 points to nothing. That's the score after 4 minutes here at Williamstown, the home side in front.
Well, they missed a key forward last week, didn't they, Sam? There's too much dependent on Tony Pastore early, who got away from the Zebra defence. But Tazinovic, lively player. He's been one of the best VFA players in the past decade. Past 8 years, I suppose I'd be more accurate.
City with a fist. Kylie, short hair this year, into
Brian Winton.
Now, MRAKOV one out at the moment. Winton just puts it for him. That lovely weighted kick. MRAKOV back there. Well played, Prahran. Wasn't that a super kick, Sam?
Well,
it plays on.
That was a super kick, but read so very well from MRAKOV. Obviously, the wind just carried the ball, and Lloyd was just caught underneath. And MRAKOV positioned perfectly and taken the easiest of marks.
Would you be happy with,
was well judged.
Would you be happy with a player kicking the ball over his shoulder like that at goal, Sam, as he just did? I mean, it's come back to him, but
Be annoyed it was a bit sloppy, yes.
Casual.
Wonder what BT thinks.
If I was the property steward at Williamstown, I'd be annoyed because he's lost the footy.
And I think they'll lose quite a few during the course of the afternoon. But you're right, Peter. Phil, it was terribly sloppy. And when you consider the amount of chances you get to kick at goal...
I don't know what happened to Lloyd there. He got himself well in front, but he just went too hard. I would have thought he would have tried to stay a bit closer to MRAKOV, hold the front position, but keep the body close.
And you can see the policy adopted by Prahran. They give him MRAKOV plenty of room here. The forward, half forwards right up, and he drills it through. But plenty of space for MRAKOV to move in. The half forwards well up around centre.
Off the ground. Kylie uses the ball effectively, usually. He does this time to Bolson. The former defender back pocket, heads for goal, and he's got it too. Nice kick from Robert Bolton. Runner up the list in year before last. And he gets
That's the way.
second.
Yes, the defender running downfield, sizing up the state of the game. Here we see him on screen. There's just no substitute for that long kick with the breeze. And why would you want to pedal around with the ball when you can do that? And it's a good test of character, actually, for the Prahran players. A number of youngsters who have been in a high. They've had a lot of publicity. They were terrible last week, well held by their Sandringham counterparts.
Smith had it knocked away by Origlasso, straight to Kuipert. 2 kicks and it's at half forward. Knocked away from Wilson by Howlett. I'm not quite sure where it is, MRAKOV, or he's trying to make out. He's not sure, and he's being tackled when he didn't have it.
Oh, gee, I thought it was a bit soft. It was a good contest, till then he should have let it go.
I agree.
Who's Richie Hoare picking up, experts?
Richie Hoare is picking up.
It's a trick question.
Trick question, well...
I think he was
probably
loose in
deliberating an
defence,
answer.
actually.
Yeah, he's
Roscoe.
It's up on the forward line earlier. MRAKOV from about 35 metres.
Oh.
That's a great kick. Terrific kick. He didn't have to allow quite as much from that pocket as he did from over in the left-hand forward pocket, and slotted it beautifully. So John MRAKOV now has 9 goals for the season.
This is a wonderful goal. You know, read the breeze perfectly. Allowed for it. The wind did the rest.
Hoare wrestling with Origlasso. No, it was Zamical. There's Smith's handball. Came down to Johansson. Zamical moving like a spider. Finally gathers it in and drills a pass to RICKMAN. Took a while to get momentum up, Zamical, but did it nicely, and RICKMAN should goal. If anyone knows this win, it should be Ian RICKMAN.
He's kicked some big ones on this ground, Ian RICKMAN. Kicked them all over the place, in fact. And that is nothing short of perfection from Ian Chops RICKMAN, the master goal kicker. One of the best exponents of the drop punt in Australia. Zamical here.
Did well, lumbered across. Good
Sort
foot skills here, Phil.
Well, it was a great pass, Sam. Wobbled a little bit, but found its man.
Make any acquaintances, or
That'll keep you happy for a while. Whet the appetite. RICKMAN around the corner. Breeze doing its work. Quite enough.
Just
Yes, it is.
beautiful,
Well,
Ian RICKMAN.
goal of the day to Chops RICKMAN.
Isn't it amazing when, as soon as he gets the ball near goals, you can almost see his brain ticking over, and he knows exactly where to put the ball. He worked that out, that the wind was going to drag it back, and sure enough,
Watch
look
him
at this
take
for a
the
goal.
1 or 2 extra steps to get himself in position and balanced.
His head's always over that ball, but he's always got a bit of a sense of where the goals exactly are. We'll see it again. Just look at that. He's sized the goals up, and then he's just concentrated on the kick. That's beautiful.
Experience for you. And I thought you'd like that one, Phil. There's a bit of theatre associated with that kick.
Both from assists by Zamical. Kylie. The two Blues into the breeze. MRAKOV underneath it. Tucking ahead, Hoare.
He's going down playing the ball.
Yes, the umpire's right.
That's such a good kick from Hoare.
Ball!
Caught by Maloney. Philip Cleary is correct. It's holding the ball.
Kept in. McTaggart.
Clever.
Playing with the ball. Did it well. Keeps it on the attacking side. Over Zamical's head. And pass to Sinovic to Rickman. Well, goal coming up for Chops. Number 3 of the quarter. And they draw closer to within 5 points.
Oh, Vince Tasinovic there.
What I like about their forward line
quickly,
isn't it?
Yes, I mean, he's given them something.
It's a good blend.
Was a great handball under pressure.
But the added height and, you know, that little bit of variety has made them a little bit...
Freed Rickman up, hasn't it?
Freed Rickman up, yeah, but they're not as... what's the word I'm...
Well, they don't look as cumbersome.
Predictable, yeah, or cumbersome.
They've got they're a bit lively now. Tasinovic is a very bouncy sort of player.
Exactly.
Ian Rickman, 3 goals in the quarter.
Play on.
Winton gets another chance. There's Cini trying to wrestle his way clear. There's the overhead smash that gets it all the way to Johansson. They'll take the lead here if Ghazi can goal. He can.
Yes.
Well, that's directly out of the engine room, Phil.
Well, exactly, Sam. Things fell right for Williamstown there. The right bounce. Nick Johansson got a good bounce. You can't ask for better than that. Over the top, and Ghazi sums it up, keeps it low, puts it through. And we've got a game now.
Mobility.
Real tight.
Is that the word you were thinking of, Sam? Mobility?
Yeah, it does, yeah, and a bit more flair. They're not as predictable up forward, Ross. You know, with Rickman at full forward, they've always been pretty easy to combat.
Shows a little bit of promise, Richard Hoare. Fairly neat.
Richie Hoare. He goes long. Oh, good mark to Steve Zamical in the pack.
Right there, that's it.
4th mark as Winton heads for the bench, and Martello will come on to take over the ruck work.
Right there now,
And,
right on.
occupy
The old timer tells the young
Creating
bloke
roll.
to get out of the way there. Billy Swan.
Could this be a reenactment of Princes Park?
Well, he's not a long kick, Swanee, but a very accurate kick.
uses his full measure of distance, allows for the breeze.
Smart
Swan, his first, and Williamstown kick away, 18 points down at quarter time. Their lead now by 6 points.
Well, you would have thought Bill Swan was he certainly passed his best football, but today he's been amongst the action. He's had 10 possessions, been neat with the ball, and we'll see him here. He calls the young boy Shanks. He's leave that to me, son. I need a possession. And kicks a very good
grand
goal.
final in 1990 didn't spin as well as that. Breeze mostly coming down ground. McTaggart's kick, terrible one for Tuddenham to try and judge. The knock on from O'Connor comes to Povey, and that's falling into the hands of Grace. Too far out to score. Wilson, good position, and outmarks Howlett. No mean effort, but a backman's nightmare there. Wilson was always in the better position.
Yes,
well, he always kept himself between the ball and his opponent, and used the backman's nightmare when you could see that ball dropping into the wind and just not able to get his fist to the ball. And held his ground very well, Wilson. Displayed good strength.
This to put Prahran back in front. Good kick. And I think Brian Taylor would be very happy if his team were in front at half-time, because Williamstown really got the run on early in this quarter.
Yes, our man Grace there, after that poor drop punt earlier, went for the torpedo, and you can see there Wilson, I should say, with the jump on Andrew Howlett. Howlett, you could always see was going to be in trouble. No way he could punch the ball, especially with it moving away from him and dropping. There's Wilson on the screen.
And some big sails in the background.
little more culture creeping into our great Australian game.
Cool. Parsons, fist backwards. Lucas won't be able to gather it in time as Pastori was bearing down on him. What a great fight back in that quarter by Williamstown to be 18 points down at quarter time.
Yes, Ian Rickman got those 18 points on his own with 3 goals in that term, but then Prahran steadied and level it up at half-time. And so we're set, we're set to start it all over again, really, at the start of the third term. It will be Prahran who will kick with that breeze in the third quarter, with scores level here. Goal kickers to half-time for Williamstown. Rickman 3, singles to Swan, Tasinovich, Ghazi, and yes, that's the goal kickers for the Seagulls. For Prahran, 2 to MRAKOV, singles to Kuipert, Bolzen, Maloney, and Wilson. It's half-time at Point Gellibrand. Williamstown and Prahran are level. We'll be back after we go back to the studio for a short half-time break with our contenders for goal and mark of the day from last week. So get your pens ready to make your selections and to jot down the 0055 number to ring that selection through on. But we'll be back here very shortly. It's all level at half-time. Ghazi caught by Chappell. Venner off the ground. Gets another chance here, Martello. Oh, good play from... it was Ghazi on the end of the handle from his fellow Rover, and Rickman gives it across to Zamical for the goal.
Great team goal by Williamstown.
Johansson was the player I was searching for, who kept battling it down ground. Handball back into the pack. Sinny, quick hands off to Kylie. Howlett, terrific positioning against Wilson there. Delina. Kuipert.
Well done, Brett McTaggart.
Bolzen. Hooked that back beautifully. What a snap. Oh, tremendous goal from Robert Bolzen, his second, and that's levelled the scores.
Well, it sure was, Peter, because Brett McTaggart worked very, very hard to smother that ball, then knock it on. But Bolzen swept in. We'll see it here.
When was the last time you think, gentlemen, a back pocketers kicked 2 goals in the match?
Well, you got me there, Sam.
I'll just look up my record, Sam. Got all that.
Do you mean since what, 1875?
Well, say the 20th century, Phil.
Over the mark.
Aaron Martello. Out to Kylie. Good pace from Ghazi, makes him wheel around. No, it's Parsons. Good kick. Wilson. Povey. Kick wasn't good from MRAKOV, but chipping in is Grace, directly in front, 35 metres out.
Now can the former Ormond player atone for a couple of bad misses in that second term?
There's one behind to his credit.
Very deliberate.
This to put Prahran in front no matter what he scores. It's a goal.
It's more like it.
10th possession is a counting one for Steve Grace.
The centre corridor to Bolzen. Gould's gone the wrong way. Bolzen goes long, but over the head of MRAKOV. Wilson going back, and Grace, who perhaps should have held that. And now a free kick being found.
To Grace.
Oh, lucky.
Gee.
Well, that I would have thought was a charity. Maybe the replay will prove us wrong.
I didn't see anything at the time, I must admit.
Out.
Sam didn't seem surprised.
Size of the ball, you come in from the front, hit him in the face, a free kick.
Oh, wait there.
Hit him in the face, a free kick, Tags.
Blow in the face. 6 points. He's, well, what's he done there?
Put it through.
The lead is now 12 points. Grace allowing for the breeze. Oh,
Scooped the ball out to Grace. He's going for his third of the quarter. That's Kuipert leaving it. Behind the pack, Delina gets the goal. 18 points in front now, the 2 Blues.
Yeah, just starting to go into the ascendancy in midfield. They're just the likes of Bolzen in defence linking up with the runners in midfield.
Yes, gee, they were caught all over the place, the Willie defence. Hey, have a look at that.
Yeah.
Both in front, no one to back up. I mean, that is a sitter, and just making more of the play. But Prahran had a fair bit of the play in the first half without great result. Probably what's happening now is not out of character with the first part of the game, but really there was Brett McTaggart and Simon Lloyd.
Okay. McTaggart, though's got it. And he's got Ghazi through the middle. This is a good build-up by Williamstown. A fumble by Hansen. Didn't matter. Onto the left foot. Centering kick for Rickman is beautiful.
That was an absolutely superb kick from Johansson on the left foot. He couldn't have asked for better, Ian Rickman.
Ran that ball out of the fence beautifully, Phil, didn't
Well,
it?
they got themselves in a bit of trouble with McTaggart going back into the play and swinging the ball into the Prahran player, Cini, but they've won it back. Good running through the midfield and linking up. A goal to Rickman, and the game really comes alive.
Chops Rickman. He's kicked 3 all in the second quarter.
And number 4.
Draw a bit closer.
He's not bad, the bloke, is he, when it comes to kicking goals? And I mean, on the lead too, it was a great lead, and this is the beauty, I suppose, of experience and intelligence. It's a real thinker, Chops.
Well, the terraces are vocal now, Phil, in anticipation of a Willie revival. Can they pinch this one?
They're not the side of old, Sam, but they're still having a shot at it.
Long got support from Howlett. Good work from the Seagull defence. Benner's handball, knock on from Howlett. He had a Hoare available. He's played basketball all the way down to the centre wing, and the home fans love it. Parsons goes to the boundary. He gave it straight to Pastore. The crowd will tell you the story.
Williamstown, Andrew Howlett can take the credit for that bit of play. Beautiful teamwork from the Williamstown defence. Ends up with Pastore, and Pastore is a very classy player. Hasn't had a lot of the action today. Hasn't seen a lot of the action, but that was a beautifully placed kick on the left side. We'll see it here. There's Andy Howlett pushing through. Really wants the ball on his right foot. Fortunately, the ball just carries over the Prahran player, and there's the goal.
Johansson. Willie with a sniff. Looking for Rickman and O'Connor. O'Connor a hand. Will he give it to Chops? Deep in the defensive pocket. He hooks it around. Not a bad effort from O'Connor. Miraculous goal. No, just wide.
Hasn't it lifted a notch now, Roscoe?
How did O'Connor hook that one too much and missed on the left-hand side?
Exactly, Peter.
Right, mate, quick, 5, 5, 5.
Sandringham,
Play on.
like different players when they get here.
That's ball.
It's a good tackle on Bolzen, who wants to go on with it with Pastore. Meanwhile, there's a great chance. The panel from Rickman was brilliant. Ghazi will get a free.
Free kick for a push. Gee, that was smart play by Rickman, Peter.
Oh, that was just delightful.
Tap on.
Good to see that again on the screen.
But you're right, Peter, the experienced content in the Williamstown side really lifted a notch. McTaggart, Howlett, Ghazi, Rickman.
I reckon, Sam, you put your finger on it, though. The big bloke Venner in the ruck has given him first use in what's been a scrambly sort of contest at times, but he's really been in amongst it, tapping the ball on.
But his work ethic has been fantastic.
Sadi Ghazi to put his team in front. They've been playing catch-up football all day, and you see the strength of the breeze. There's a 50-metre penalty. It's against Paul Tuddenham, not getting 10 metres away from Sadi Ghazi. And Rickman just lets him know all about it in a very gentle manner.
Well, that makes it a bit easier to put the side in front, Sam, doesn't it?
Ghazi second, and Williamstown hit the front. Point leaders here at Point Gellibrand.
And the contentious point on the 50-metre rule will certainly be fueled by that.
Look at that, Rick.
Lovely tap.
It's a terrific tackle from Chappell, who hasn't let Ghazi out of his sight today.
No, well, the ploy was to tag him whenever he's on the ball.
Two Blues forward, grabbed by Gould. Quick to boot. Centre half forward. It's almost carried the pack. O'Connor fighting hard there. In comes Gould again. First one to get another kick. Or possession to Ghazi. Spots a man, goes goalward, and gets another. Was it touched? I don't think so. It wasn't. Third goal. And Ghazi's had a pretty quiet day, but he's lifted when it's really needed.
Well, he's really stood up and be counted when it really matters most. And Richard Chappell, who has tagged him effectively for the greater portion of this game, has finally broken the shackles, and in the space of 60 seconds has put his side well on the way to victory now.
It's these small players getting in amongst Johansson, and good use of the ball.
Gould there.
Gould, yes, great handballing, trying to set the play up.
would have been Prahran's best player today. I'm sure Barge Taylor knew it was going to be a tough assignment here at Point Gellibrand today. He was down here for breakfast trying to get a feel of things. His team 8 points down. A real test for them here. Tasinovic tackled a man who didn't have the ball in Michael Sinney. Opportunity, couldn't quite mark. Tuddenham. Well, that high kick into the forward line will help the Willie backs. Howlett's fist, and the siren ends the game. And Williamstown bounced back after an 85-point loss last week at the hands of Sandringham to defeat Prahran by 11 points in the final analysis. The difference was 18 points to Prahran at quarter time, level at half time, 22 to Prahran at three-quarter time, and Williamstown came home strongly with 4 goals to 0, and so they should be smiling. Experienced and inexperienced alike played their part here today for the Seagulls. 4 goals for Ian Rickman, 3 to Sadi Ghazi, 2 in the last term for the Rover. Single goal kickers were Swan, Tasinovic, Pastori, Zamikal. For Prahran, 2 to Bolzen, 2 to Grace, singles to Kuipert, Maloney and Wilson. MRAKOV got 2, all in the first term, and he saw very little action in the second half. Didn't really seem to have his heart in it today. But, well, a good omen for the teams who were beaten last week in the first round of VFA football, because they're all at home this weekend. Williamstown have made it 1-1. Good chance for the other teams to do likewise against winners last week in tomorrow. So Barry Round finding it hard there to suppress a smile. A real team effort from Williamstown. You can pick 6 players that will be in line for man of the match, whereas with Prahran there probably would have been only 1 or 2.
Well, some big lifts in
Maloney
that last
or Kuipert, perhaps.
Yeah, some big lifters in the last quarter, really, Peter. You know, Brett McTaggart had been a bit scratchy, and Lloyd came into his own. Of course, Andy Hallett continued on, and under pressure, those players were just supreme in defence. Saad Ghazi, Bill Swan chipping in.
Let's find out who the VicSafe man of the match is for round 2.
Yes, Peter. Well, our man of the match is Williamstown ruckman Steve Venner, and from Victoria Police Superintendent Bruce Logie to present the VicSafe tankard.
Thank you. Steve, on behalf of VicSafe and Victoria Police, I'd like you to accept the award for being the Player of the Week. And thanks a lot. Congratulations on a great game. Thanks very much.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Bruce. Well done, Steve. There are the keys to the Massa. Well done.
Thanks a lot.
And you almost get a goal there at the end.
Yeah, just about.
Well, they were using 2 ruckmen against you. That was...
yeah, it makes it a bit hard, yeah.
And what did Barry Round do during the week to get you up? Because you were really down on form in the team in general last week.
Yeah, well, last week we played pretty ordinary, but we trained pretty hard, and we had to do a bit better, or it's better than being on the bottom of the ladder. So
indeed. But, well, I suppose when you woke up this morning, you found all that hot weather had disappeared, and we had a southwesterly breeze. What did you think?
Well, actually, I don't mind playing down there in the wind. We love it down there. So the other sides don't like it much, but you can't do much about that.
Indeed, yes. So congratulations, Steve, on a great game and a good win to Williamstown.
I just like to thank Big Health and Mazda. Thanks a lot.
Okay, Steve Venner, VicSafe man of the match.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah, I hope you can shift that driver's seat back far enough to get 2 metres of Steve Venner in there. But Barry Round, the winning coach, is with Ross Booth.
Well, Barry, you must be pretty relieved after a really poor performance last week, I suppose you'd have to say, wouldn't we?
Yeah, it was. It was. I was just talking to the boys. Then it's the voice is gone, but it wasn't the fact that we just lost last week. It was the way we lost. It was pretty demoralising. And for the boys to come back today and perform like they did, we had to kick 4 goals in the last quarter, and we'd only kicked 7 for the first 3. So you know, we were looking down the barrel. But to their credit, the boys hung in there. You know, I know Ashley Koenig's in hospital. He had a knee operation. I mentioned that to the boys at every break, and I'm sure that the thoughts of him helped us win today.
Your mind wasn't off the job thinking about Mike Willis and Peter Wynant, was it, the Swans?
Oh, yeah, no. The Swans win?
I don't know. Okay, we'll have to talk to Sadi Ghazi, who's down here, who had an instrumental part in that last quarter. Sadi?
Sadi's fish and chip shop.
Well, it was great last quarter. You struggled a bit today and even last week, but that last quarter was fantastic.
Yeah, well, I had to pull something out there. It was a bit tight. It was just a couple of lucky breaks, I think, you know. But, you know, sometimes you have quiet days. We've just got to persevere and a bit of luck here and there, and who knows, get a couple of kicks and a couple of goals.
You've been troubled by a leg injury, have you?
Yes and no.
It's a trade secret, is it?
Yeah, it'd be all right. It's just a bit of a cork thigh, so. But it was great to win, especially after last week. It was a bit embarrassing last week, so it's good to get back on the winning list.
OK, Sadie goes in a word with Chops, Ian Rickman.
Roscoe.
Great comeback.
Yeah, it was good. They had us off the bit there for a while, but we had to, as Randy said, we had to kick 4 goals and keep them to none to win, and that's what we did. A couple of blokes who've been down during the day.
You said your prayers last week and got that win.
That's right, mate. Yeah. We had to do something after last week, didn't we?
You sure did,
so,
yeah. OK.
We can go on with it now.
Yeah, OK. Thanks, Chops. Chops Rickman, the Williamstown full forward, and they're quiet for a moment here, but believe me, they're very happy.